I wasn't raised Jewish. I wasn't raised Christian. So when I was a kid, I didn't have a bar mitzvah or a confirmation or any other kind of coming of age ritual. In fact, those things, I think, because I didn't have them, they fascinated me. I really wondered what that was all about, so much so that I recently finished a doctoral dissertation on the transition from boyhood to manhood, all of which makes this story and the timing of it a little spooky, actually. It started almost 5 years ago now, one evening. This was just after I had started this dissertation. One evening, I'm walking down Connecticut Avenue, thinking, as I always did at that time, about initiation rituals and how do they work and could it work in a culture like ours. And as I'm walking, I see this guy come out of a side street and then walk deliberately towards me. He's about 25, blue jeans, bushy black hair, my size. Could have been me 40 years earlier, really. As he came close, I saw that he was wearing a yarmulke. So I didn't feel threatened by the question he asked me. "Excuse me, are you Jewish?" Well, it's complicated. My mother was Jewish. My father wasn't. I wasn't raised Jewish. "Oh, but your mother was Jewish. That's great. Because if your mother's Jewish, then in Jewish law, you're Jewish. Can you please help us out? This is the fast day before the Jewish holiday of Purim, and we need one more for a minyan. You know, the 10 Jews you need to have a service." She, "I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be really late getting home as it is. I mean, oh, please, please. We got to get this done before sundown. It's only going to take like 10 minutes. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just be there." Well, a little more hesitating, a little more coaxing, and I was following him up the street. I didn't know where to, but when we got there, I saw it was the Lubavitcher Center. Now, Lubavitchers, if you don't know them, are a very conservative, very orthodox Jewish sect from Brooklyn. Just to give you the flavor of them, a fair number of them were convinced that their last grand rabbi was the Messiah. So much so that they actually staked out his grave so they could see when he rose from the dead. And some of them were carrying pagers so that no matter where they were, they could get the great news immediately. So we go into the sanctuary. There's a small knot of guys standing there. They all look to be in their mid-20s. Then the rabbi. This rabbi looks like you called Central Casting and said, "Send me a rabbi." You know? Big black hat, right? Full salt and pepper beard, a black vest with the fringes of his prayer shawl hanging out the bottom. "Oh, thank you for helping us out. You know what you're going to get for this? An aliyah." Now, I wasn't raised Jewish, but I knew what that word meant. It meant that I would be called up to the front to lead a prayer. It's considered a blessing. Well, that's really nice, but you need to know I don't read or speak a word of Hebrew. "You don't? Were you ever bar mitzvahed?" No. "Well, we can do that now. You want to do that now?" Well, that unleashed 100 voices inside my head. One was saying, "Oy vey," another was saying, "Jesus Christ," another was saying, "Holy shit." But the most insistent one was saying, "Wow, an initiation ceremony, do it." So, yes, okay, let's do it. Okay, you say your mother was Jewish, right? Yes, you're sure? Oh, yeah. We have her certificate from Hebrew school back in like 1924 or something. Okay, good, we can do this. So you need a Hebrew name. How about You're Arthur, how about Aaron? Aaron was the brother of Moses and a very holy man. Well, the rabbi may have been thinking of the holy brother of Moses. I was thinking of my uncle Aaron, a great guy, but a bad Jew. He spent his entire life running a company that made non-kosher food. And he married a woman who was so tall and so blonde and so Baptist, she gave a whole new meaning to the word shiksa. So, okay, Aaron, that's great. Aaron, okay. Now, your father, Jewish? No. Italian, Joseph. Actually, Giuseppe. Well, your Hebrew name can't be Aaron ben Giuseppe. How about Aaron ben Avram? Avram, Abraham, was the father of all the Jews. Okay, we'll do it. Aaron ben Abraham. So, they wrapped me in the prayer shawl. I pointed the pointer to the first and last words of that week's Torah portion. I read a phonetically translated prayer. They sang the magic words, and bingo, mazel tov. At age 64, I'm initiated into Jewish manhood. Okay. So I get home. My wife, who's very spiritual, loved this story. She was sure it was no accident. Took me out for a kosher dinner that night to celebrate. And for a few weeks, I had a great story to tell all my friends. One of them, as I remember, even sent me a card congratulating me on the culmination of all my years of hard work and study. But, after a few weeks, it was like, is anything different? Did anything really happen there? Well, one thing was different, but it took me a while to realize it. I don't know if you remember the Beatles movie Help. The opening scene is in the temple of some ancient Eastern sect. Okay, it's a comedy, and the portrayal of these people is completely ridiculous. But 40 years ago, when I saw it, it awakened something in me. That scene gave me this visceral longing. I wanted to be born into an ancient Eastern sect, something with its own God, its own language, its own esoteric rituals, something whose origins were like lost in the beginnings of human consciousness. Well, duh. I was born into an ancient Eastern sect, the tribe of Judah. All my life, I had ignored or downplayed that. But that kid on Connecticut Avenue, he saw it. Thousands of miles from the ancient tribal homeland, thousands of years after the tribe was dispersed, he saw me and he said to himself, that guy is one of us. And he took me into my initiation. Very strange. Thank you.